dissenting vote on the death panel saying, no, old, sick, still got some good in her. Let her go. You, corporate dude, Ty, you got to die.
I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
Look.
But, yeah, I mean, and every time I ask myself, like, how can these people be ignorant? How can the abundance of proof to the contrary not make them even consider the fact that they might be wrong? And then, I think about religion.
Facts don't matter anymore.
But Tom said, though, I could shoot somebody. And I could do whatever I wanted.
And still get elected.
They would still vote for him. I mean, because they think, and mind you, I used to think it was the uneducated. I have talked to highly educated, good guys with great jobs or great retirements, and they're backing Trump.
Yeah, but you can have all the education in the world and still be ignorant as a motherfucker.
That's going back what she was saying. We thought that it was. I thought that too. That it was the redneck. But no, I'm sorry, it's not. It's there's some guys out there who saying, "Well, hey, this needs to happen." And that Obama, he's not Muslim. He's not, yeah.
Yeah, but I still think that statistically, it's the undereducated. I mean, it's people who are unable to.
Do I think they're all sheep? Yes, I do. Yes, they are sheep because he could sell them. He could pretty much sell them anything right now. They're stupid. The pet rock, phenomenon still goes on.
Well, but there was a survey, and I think it was the Washington Post that did reveal that it is the poorly educated and the uneducated that make up the Trump's fan base, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And it's funny because on Facebook got into a back and forth with some moron who, it's really convenient for liberals to say this is the poorly educated, but if you look at had a completely fact-free argument,
right,
explaining how this is just liberal bias, and it's like, well, yeah, those are nice words, but then if you actually look at the facts and the numbers and the figures, lo and behold, it is the poorly and uneducated that are backing this
who's
guy.
Abandoning Shipp right now in the Republican Party. It's the smart Republicans who are just getting on out of there.
Talk about an oxymoron.
Listen, I'm not here to bash
in this day and age, though, and in general, they are out there, but there are so few. Seems like less and less, and not saying all conservatives. Mm-hmm. But Republicans, people who are sticking with the party that has nominated Donald Trump, that is making him their standard bearer.
Yeah.
Those Republicans.
Well, there's a great op-ed coming out in the New York Times tomorrow about that. Like, who are these people? What is it? What's the bottom line? Why are Republicans still staying with Trump? And in the end, it all comes down to the estate tax. That they don't want.
Was
that
that the
to change.
Paul Krugman piece?
No, it's not Paul Krugman, but I don't know who. I read it online this morning. Yeah, and I think in the end it just really does come down to economics.
Yeah, but and this is another one of those instances where logic just goes out the window. For most of these people who are defending the concept of eliminating the estate tax would never even touch them. Years ago, I dated a Republican. Well, I don't know if she was a Republican, but she did vote for George W. Bush twice. Which, like, when she first told me that, we'd been dating long enough that it was like, shit, I really can't dump her now. Yeah, it's like too much has transpired between us. But and she, was pro-abortion, punky chick, had tattoos, multicolored hair, and everything. The last person you would, at least visually and talking to her, last person you would expect to vote for George W. Bush, let alone any Republican. I asked her, and I'm certainly painting myself in a much nicer position here because I think the tone was much more, what the fuck are you thinking? What is your problem? But when I asked her how she could possibly do that, she said very simply, she's like, well, I'm trying to launch a business, and George W. Bush's policies are much better for business. And I said, not your business, though. Your business is, and I'm not trying to insult you here, but you are you are nothing in terms of what his policies will affect. I understand aspirational thinking, and maybe one day your business will turn into a multi-million-dollar empire, and maybe it would make sense to vote for a Republican solely on economic reasoning.
Yeah.
But until that, there is no reason whatsoever. And so when Republicans are supporting Trump and backing him because he wants to abolish the estate tax, this is like they're expecting some sort of trickle down from, well, if we're nice to the rich people, then they'll help us out and hook us up. Have you met rich people? Most of them, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I just want to say, David, I too have loved a Republican. It is a love that dares not speak its name, and it's the road to hell. I mean,
it really is.
And in the end, for him, it was fear and control, fear and control, fear and control, and economics. But and he was actually a rich guy. I mean, he had something to lose. I mean, he was not mega rich, but He came from the conservative fiscal side of republicanism, but it began to branch out like kudzu in his soul, which was one that was possessed of fear.
and that's the one thing that always astounds me is, and I'm going to sound like a hippie idiot for a second here, but
go for it.
You have to well, this is what's good for, and so I've got to vote this way. But when you consider the greater good, which would also be good for you, that to me would sort of seem to outweigh. It's like, well, if Republicans, then I can have my gated community and live behind fences and walls. And it's like, yeah, but if you vote for the Democrat, you might not need the fences and walls.
Right.
Because when things are better for everybody else, granted, there are plenty of people who are assholes. I'm not ignorant enough to deny that fact of reality. So there will always be crime. Yeah. But there won't be as much of a need to live behind fences and walls because there aren't going to be as many people hurting and looking for, well, who has everything? Well, I have nothing. They do. Fucking get them.
And all of this comes down to brain science. I mean, surely we've seen all the articles, on the studies that are done on liberals and conservatives, and their brains are organized differently from ours. It's a biological thing on some level, and I don't know what do they come into the world that way, or does trauma shape them into that, or early influences. But not to bang the drum of fear and paranoia and control, but it comes from fear of the other, fear of not being able to control the environment, fear that something bad, some bad person, the terrorist, the black guy, the this, the that, the crazy feminist, is going to come and take something from them. So that's why they build the fence. That's why they want the fucking Trump wall.
You're never, but you know what? You're never going to. Man and his issues are just not going to stop. I mean, because they're constantly. We have to create signs to tell people not to litter. I mean, because you should not throw trash down, but they're going to do it anyway.
They're going to do it anyway.
Well, one of the God, and I don't remember who it was. Another local comedian who, and I've seen two people talking about this. There's a new ad campaign that I've been seeing around LA. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but on the bus stops, the big poster. It's against hit and runs. If you hit someone, stop. It's like, do we really? We need posters for this?
Yes, because you have to create and stop doing things. I mean, whether we're supposed to be stewards of our country and of the land and everything, but we're not. No. We're more concerned about capitalism, and that's why. As much as if this is the society we're going to have, then because everything's all about making money, whether it's murder, death, drugs, you name it, we're going to make money off of it, and that's where we're willing to put everything. We're making money off the broken family. We're making money off the homeless. Nonprofits make money. They make poverty pays money. I mean, we keep talking about our we have so much litter and everything that we should be recycling and doing a lot of stuff but we're not.
Well, that's my biggest issue with the whole concept of American exceptionalism is the people who are screaming it loudest from the rooftops are the ones who seem to be doing the least to make America exceptional.
Yes, I know.
Right. We want to make America
great. America is great. Well, no, we're great. But, we could fix, no, we're great.
I mean, they're not doing anything.
Fuck that made you Tony the Tiger.
Right. It's but, when you say, and that's another thing, when you keep talking about America's great, yeah, on the surface, we look like a beautiful country. But till you start digging in,
we're not that great.
And as they said, had one Facebook thing that came out when, what was it, TV News? The TV News, the TV show that was out, it was one of the shows, and they asked him in a panel, asked the guy, is America great, or why isn't America great? And he said, no, America is not great. He talked about our educational system, our how we
our failing infrastructure,
everything
all
that we will not do because it's all about. We have too many lobbyists in Congress and in Washington. Period. That that are stopping and preventing things from happening. Neighborhoods, we can fix any neighborhood we want. We have to find out, is it feasible?
If we legislated corporate tax reform, we could fix the infrastructure entirely within years. I mean, there's so much money that is not being collected that is supposed to legally, it's breaking us.
Well, we spent $20 million to drag that rock over to LACMA. They raised $20 million.
Oh my God! You and the
sorry, that's $20 million we could have did with money. I'm just saying the money's out there. That's my point. The reason why I bring it up is that the money is there to do exactly what you want. It is there. We can raise it at any time. You can get a rock.
Sure.
Why not?
That fucking LACMA rock is a pebble in your shoe, Tymon, isn't it?
It's a big fucking shoe. We were bagging on Republicans earlier. I do want to give credit. There's an article that it was a few months back, but it's resurfaced and making the rounds on Facebook again about the Republican mayor of Albuquerque, New Mexico, who has started a program that basically it's like day jobs for the homeless. Doing stuff like picking up litter and clearing weeds out of like the medians and basically making Albuquerque beautiful, paying homeless people $9 an hour, giving them a free lunch, offering them a spot in a shelter at night.
Yeah.
And kudos to the mayor of Albuquerque.
Is he Republican?
Wow. And if there were more Republicans like that,
Well, you know what? There may be more Republicans like that because, as all of the news outlets have been crowing all week, I mean, we're sort of seeing the end of the Republican Party as we've known it over the last 50 years or so. And maybe there's a new dawn ahead.
There might be, but this is like that, the Twilight Zone episode, Eye of the Power, or like any old gangster movie where the criminal gets the plastic surgery. It's the slow unveiling of the bandages.
Taking the gauze
and wondering what's going to be underneath when you I think that is one interesting thing, and natural disasters we can barely predict, but knock wood, fingers crossed, there is one guy who's going to get killed by a landslide come November.
By a landslide.
But
and we haven't had one of those in a really long time. It's exciting.
And he seemingly is doing everything he possibly can to make it come true. And I love this week. That should just be a new show. This Week in Trump. But he was campaigning in Pennsylvania, saying the only way he could possibly lose Pennsylvania is if Hillary cheats, or if you look at the current poll numbers, if things keep going.
Or talking like this.
It's
well. How about the dog whistle? Do we want to talk about that? Him saying, "Well, the Second Amendment people will."
It's it is astounding that there are certain things.
He said he was being sarcastic.
Well, no,
right.
the sarcasm was That was about Obama being the founder of ISIS.
Yeah.
Which 4 times. No, that is
But this is
exactly
his
what
MO.
I meant. That is literally what I meant. Hugh
he said
Hewitt
it over
even
and over
tried
again.
to get